60973. Well, let's talk to two Labour observers, John McTernan, commentator and strategist, who was political secretary to Tony Blair, and George Aylett, Labour campaigner and former parliamentary candidate. Good evening to you both. John, let's start with you. What's your analysis of Labour's position at the moment?
I think Labour's position is far weaker than it should be, given the shambles of the current Tory government and the massive splits there are inside that government. But I think it is mainly the problem is that the public is divided into two big camps. One is Leave, one is Remain. That's what the consequence of a referendum normally are. They polarise your politics. And people who want to vote Leave, who support Leave, they'll support the Tory party or UKIP, but mainly the Tory party. People who want to Remain, they want to support the Labour Party. But John McDonnell and particularly Jeremy Corbyn give off very strong vibes, so they don't mind leaving the European Union. They don't even mind it being a mess. They just want to make sure that the Tories are blamed. And in a world like that, where the people want a clear choice to be pro-EU or anti-EU, to be pro-Remain or pro-Leave, Labour lose out because they alienate the pro-Remain voters, who gave them so many votes in 2017, gave them Canterbury, gave them Kensington, gave them big swings in London. And I think they may rue this decision.
George Aylett, do you buy that?
I think there's a lot to take from that. I think John is right that the country is polarised at the moment. So Britain Elects, which do poll of polls, they show that Labour on 37.8%, whilst the Conservatives are on 37.4% on average. So it's split right down the middle at this time at the moment. I don't think John's right by saying that Remainers are essentially abandoning the Labour Party because we're accepting the referendum result. 51% of Remain voters, according to an Ashcroft poll, voted Labour in 2017, and that number has not changed substantially. Labour, in order to win the next election, need to appeal to Leave voters who are currently voting for the Conservative Party. And I feel that the next couple of weeks are going to be decisive when it comes to that. If the Conservatives leave us with a no-deal Brexit, I feel that a lot of people are going to feel abandoned and betrayed by the Conservative Party, and hopefully that Labour can offer a message to unite, Remain and Leave voters behind a radical platform to actually deliver for the working class.
Do you not think there's also a danger that if we don't leave on March the 29th, there'll be a lot of Labour voters that blame the Labour Party for that?
I don't think it's about whether we leave or not on the 29th of March if we get no deal. I think people would rather prefer extension to Article 50 and actually getting a good deal than crashing out with no deal with an economic disaster and instability in Northern Ireland. I don't think it's about having an arbitrary time limit to leave the European Union as long as it's done in the future. But I'd rather have a good deal in the future than no deal on the 29th of March.
And John McTernan, I guess in a sense, it depends when the next election is. John McDonnell there, when I was speaking to him, he clearly believes that there's still a possibility of an early general election. I'm not so sure I go along with that. But if the election is in 2022, it's unlikely to be all about Brexit. So it's a whole new political situation by then, isn't it?
Oh, I think the rest of our lives is going to be talking about Brexit. If we don't leave, definitely it'll be talking about Brexit. If we do leave, it'll definitely be talking about Brexit. The economic ramifications of Brexit are so huge. And I think the problem for Jeremy Corbyn is compounded by his, in fact, he's a Leaver who's leading a Remain party. But it's compounded by two big things last year, which I think have put a huge question mark over him, which really pulled back the Labour support in the May elections last year, particularly in London. The first is the Rabat anti-Semitism. It takes some genius to take the Labour Party, the British Labour Party, the historic friend of Israel and the Israeli Labour Party, and make it such a home for anti-Semites and not to be able to deal with that issue. But secondly, I think the Jeremy Corbyn response to the Skripal poisoning is clear. That revealed in real time that he believes that Russia can do no wrong. And I'll tell you what, working class people, whether Remain or Leave, don't agree with that. Middle class people, whether Remain or Leave, don't believe that. And that is the drag anchor, is the reality of Jeremy. What people are now seeing post-2017 is who he really is. He said he stands for the members, but he ignores their views on a second referendum. He says he's against all forms of racism and anti-Semitism, but actually tolerates it inside his own party. And his foreign policy positions, which are alarming and extreme, like his position on Venezuela, come into full focus on an issue like Skripal. So I think what's holding the Labour Party back is, in the end, Jeremy Corbyn.
George, that's quite a powerful argument, isn't it? If you look at the issues that John raises there, Russia, Venezuela, anti-Semitism, do you not think that he's completely out of step with the mass of the British people on those issues?
No, I completely disagree that Jeremy Corbyn's out of touch with the British public. So when he became Labour leader, we just came out from a disastrous 2015 election result when we got 30% of the vote. In 2010, we got 29% of the vote. In 2017, we won 40% of the vote, which is the highest increase in the share of the vote since 1945. And the polls show that we're still edging ahead of the Conservatives, even if it's only by 0.5% currently. But the next election will be decided on jobs, the economy, and also the aftermath of Brexit as well, and it all depends when it will be. But I think people keep on writing off Jeremy Corbyn over and over again. When he became Labour leader, he was a 200-to-1 outsider, and he won it by a landslide. When that 2017 general election was called, they predicted that Labour would be wiped out. I think people are underestimating Jeremy Corbyn again and again and again, and fingers crossed that he can actually deliver a fantastic campaign as he did last time, but hopefully take it over the line this time and actually offer real change for people, because that message of ending austerity and investing in communities and public ownership of essential services resonates with a lot of working class, middle class people who are crying out for change. So I want him to stay on as Labour leader, and I think he's our best chance of actually winning that election.
George Aylett, John McTernan, thank you very much for joining us. We'll come to your calls in a moment. 0345 6060 973. Are Labour heading for government? Are Corbyn and McDonnell a drag or a draw? It's 9:30. John Stratford has the news headline.